There we go. Good afternoon, traders, and welcome to this afternoon's session. With me, I'll be your host for today. My name is Francois Plessis. I am the market analyst here at ATFX Africa. So, I do see we already have a bunch of people here, so welcome to today's session. If there's anything specific you would like me to look at today, please let me know in the comment section. It is there for you. So, yeah, please pop that for me into the comment section so we can make sure that I have everything that you, or I give through everything that you want and would need to trade this specific event successfully. Let me put it that way. Okay. So, as we're getting into the session, I think let's start with some of the basics. So we are going to have a look at, let's just see, kind of what's expected for today, what numbers are expected, and then kind of build from there on forward. So, as if you guys have attended sessions with me during this week, you will know that I am drinking a lot of liquids during my session. It's just, I'm still recovering from flu, so I do cough a lot. So bear with me on that. Okay, so I see there's a bunch of stuff popping through. Gold. Okay, not a problem. We are going to have a look at gold. I think let's just kick things off with the economic calendar for today, and then we can proceed from there on forward. So just give me a second. Let me just share this and then go here. There we go. Okay, cool. So here is our economic calendar for today, and here we can see, here we have the reports that we are currently waiting for this afternoon. Kicking things off with the average hourly earnings that would be released today. So there we are expecting things to stay relatively the same. So the month-on-month average hourly earnings is expected to stay at 0.3%. The unemployment rate is also expected to stay at the 4.2% that it came in last month. NFP, on the other hand, is expected to tick up a little bit to 75,000 new jobs that has been created during this specific month. Now, however, if you have been following everything that I have been sharing with you guys, sorry, wrong one. So if you guys have been following everything that I have been sharing throughout the week, you would know that there is a lot of other factors that are going into today's NFP. And there's actually a big possibility that this NFP result can be a lot worse than expected, and that there could be figures coming through today that will lead to a much weaker dollar. Okay, so that being said, let's kick things off with the analysis that you guys have requested from me on gold. So obviously, as per the video as well that I released yesterday on NFP specifically, we had this very nice bullish run in the middle part of the week. So that was up until around Wednesday. Wednesday had a bit of a retracement back down to our 21 EMA over here. Beautiful rejection, and now we are currently sitting between a rock and a hard place, okay? As we are sitting above the EMAs, but we're sitting under that resistance level that I have at 3,560. And by the way, the only reason why I have that resistance level there is specifically because of Fibonacci extension levels, is based on how that was calculated. Now, based on the results that we are expecting today, which is weaker NFP data, I'm waiting for a break above this resistance. So if you want to trade the spike, I would even say you could put a little bit of a buy stop order here around 3,565. Because even if we go down to lower time frames, if this breaks higher, so here, even if you're going to go around as low as 64, that'll give you some nice movement here. And personally, I believe if we get softer data on NFP 3,600 might actually be achieved today. Like literally, we could potentially see 3,600 on the cards today if that happens. If we see stronger NFP data, we could potentially see a pullback. But again, based on all the data that we have been receiving over the last week, I believe that that pullback, in my opinion, would be an opportunity to buy the dip, okay? So what I will be looking for then is a pullback back down to around this 3,500 level, and then I'm going to start looking to load in some buys from there on forward, okay? I see I have another request from Roland for US 30. So let me pop that on as well. So here we have US 30 now. Obviously, we had that massive rally. I even spoke about that in my market brief earlier today. And I do see I have a few hellos. So welcome everyone and thank you for joining us, or me, on this specific session. So yeah, if we have a look here, we have had this big pullback that has happened this morning. So yesterday, US 30 rallied to around that 45,680 level and has since then retreated back down to that 45,500 level. Now again, if we get weak jobs data, that's going to lead to some interest rate cuts and so forth, and that could actually be very positive for equities. US 30 on the other hand, and what I specifically mean on equities there, I'm talking about the S&P 500 and NASDAQ, okay? You will also see both of those have not pulled back as sharply as US 30 has. Because remember, US 30 is an evenly weighted blue chip stock index. And a lot of the blue chip stock companies that are listed within the US 30 index is banks and hedge funds, which they actually like it when interest rates are higher. They don't necessarily want interest rates to drop the same as the US 500, so S&P and NASDAQ, because both of those would really benefit from an interest rate drop, where US 30 doesn't benefit as much. So again, if we are going to see softer NFP results today, which would be released in like the next 5 minutes, I'm expecting a massive rally on US 100, potentially all the way up to this 24,000 level up here. Even S&P could potentially go to test this level here at 6,550. Where if we get stronger NFP data, that actually might be more beneficial for US 30. So stronger NFP data, we might actually see US 30 rally, where weaker NFP data might see US 30 pull back and NASDAQ and S&P 500 to rally. Okay. I'm hoping that makes sense. If there's anything else, you guys. Okay, so I'm looking at the German 40 direction. So Vulisile, you can obviously look at DAX as well. Because yes, NFP is going to affect DAX, okay? But it's not really something that I would say is on my top 10 things to trade when trading NFP. I would rather that if you are looking at DAX, I would rather look at like NASDAQ. Obviously, there's a big correlation between DAX and NASDAQ, but NASDAQ will have a much nicer move on NFP now than DAX would. So I wouldn't necessarily look at German 30, even though it would have an effect. The only time I would actually look at German 30 is if you are already in trades on German 30. And on that, if you are already in buys, I would say, again, if we get softer NFP data, those buys are going to play out quite nicely because this will rally higher. But if we get a stronger NFP, it might actually push down to come and retest these levels down here. Even if I add in this trend line over here, it might actually just come back down to retest this 23,650 level. Again, the spike won't necessarily be as big as something that we will see on, for instance, NASDAQ and S&P. Yeah, I do hope that helps. I do hope that makes sense. So on Euro USD, I've already entered a trade. So I'm actually already in a buy on Euro USD at the moment. I am going to manage my positions. Obviously, if it spikes in a different direction, I will potentially look for some additional entries then a little bit lower. But yes, currently already in a buy. It is running a small minus at the moment, so I can actually show you that trade. So there you can see there's my buy at the moment. It is running a small minus, so I'm sitting at about $140 minus, but I do have a target up here, which is about 65 pips up. That's kind of the spike that I believe we'll have. Again, aiming for that softer NFP data. Again, just one of my personal trades. But if the market does go against me, as I discussed last night in the Ask the Analyst session, I will then be looking to manage this position by entering in some recovery trades. And my first recovery level is sitting at 1.158. So at 1.158, I will start looking at adding positions into to counteract that specific trade, and then go from there on forward. So yeah, okay. Any additional questions? Volume is low. So yes, Bridget, volume is currently low. Again, we are waiting for market to open. So volume is always a little bit low prior to the actual release of the NFP results. So is there anything else you guys want me to look at? We've got a minute and 20 seconds left. So if there is anything else specifically that anyone wants me to have a look at just before the NFP results, please let me know and I'll be happy to do so. So yeah, just pop that for me into the comment section. Also, tell me what you're trading today. Tell me where you are logging in from. I would love to hear from you. And yeah, we can just continue the conversation from there. However, I do see that NFP results will be released within the next 20 or 40 seconds. So what I am going to do is I'm first going to have a look at the results. Again, what I mean by the results is the actual results on a chart. So just to give you guys a little breakdown of how this is going to go, I'm going to have a look at the actual results on the chart. So we're going to first have a look at all the various spikes. Then I'll move over to have a look on the actual economic calendar, what those results were, so what actually panned out. And then we can discuss some trades going into the rest of the day as well as going into next week, leading up to the interest rate decision on the 17th. Okay, cool. And here we go. Beautiful. Euro USD is spiking up. My trade's running 8,000, 9,000 Rand in profit. Almost at my 10,000. I have a profit sitting at 10,000, so I'm almost there. Actually, I'm checking there's a possibility now for a bit of a pullback. You know, I'm going to bank that trade. So happy on that. A nice little 6,500 Rand profit for NFP Friday. So because you can see, and I'm going to explain the reason for me closing. You can see it is kind of rejecting at this resistance level that I have here at 1.174. So because I have a key level there, I don't necessarily want to be on the wrong side of this. But again, beautiful trade, played out exactly as expected. US 500 very muted at the moment. So even if we go down to about a 5-minute time frame, we can see here very, very muted at the moment. No massive movement. It actually did push back lower, so that's interesting enough. But other than that, like I said, extremely muted at the moment, but now pushing up very nicely higher and now starting to really fly. So happy with that. Nasdaq did the exact same thing. Push down, push back up. Vulisile is obviously in a DAX trade. Now here you can see, this is why I said I don't really want to trade this, because of the fact that S&P and US 500 or Nasdaq and US 500 is acting exactly the way it should, where DAX is not reacting yet. You can still see that push lower and hasn't really moved beyond that. US 500 also actually pushing higher, so I'm going to look at the results now because I'm very curious to see. I'm just having a look at some market reactions real quick before going there. Gold is flying, so I'm almost 100% sure we got a softer NFP based on these results, and gold is literally hovering just below that 3,600 level that I spoke about earlier. Okay, cool. Let's go have a look at what the actual results are for the specific NFP. So just going to switch over to this screen. Here we go. Okay, cool. So here we have, okay, so average hourly earnings came in as expected, 0.3%. Here you can see all of them down here, okay? So average hourly earnings month on month came in at 0.3%, exactly as expected. Unemployment rate ticked higher. That one's very interesting. Oh, wow. So unemployment rate ticked higher from 4.2% to 4.3%. But here is the bombshell. NFP came in way below expectation, okay? So NFP came in at 22,000. So 22,000 versus the expected 75,000. But that is not even the worst of it. Here you can see there's a revised figure again this month. So last month's NFP result was the 79,000. Actually, no, sorry. So last month's NFP result was 73,000. So we actually have a revised figure which ticked higher to 79,000. So that's actually a little bit positive for the US dollar, but I think everyone is currently focusing on those two major figures right here, which is the immediate lower NFP results, which is a third of what we actually expected. And then secondly, the unemployment rate, which ticked higher from 4.2% to that 4.3% level. And I'm almost 100% sure if I had to go to the actual, and we'll go to it now, and you can still see Euro USD pushing very, very nicely. But I must say, if we probably go here to CME FedWatch tool, so if I pull this up, I'm going to pull this up just now. Give me a second. It's just still loading. But this will probably pop out a number now that is close to 100%. Yep, you see that. So now, because of the figures that we have right now, 99% chance of a rate cut on the 17th of September, specifically for the fact that we have that lower NFP figure. So that is literally popping out a possibility now on the FedWatch tool of a 99% probability of a September rate cut. So let me know in the comment section. Okay, so I just want to see here as well. I do see I have an error here. Everything seems to be running fine. So let me know in the comment section, how did you do? Did you make some money trading NFP? Yes or no? Was the levels that I gave beneficial? Did you trade alongside the directional bias based on the results and even some of the technical analysis that was shared? Share your performance with me as well in the comment section. I would love to see those results. But yeah, overall, FX Beast, yes. So thank you for that. I do appreciate that. So overall, very simple, straightforward NFP results. Just still leaving gold here. I want to see if we will get to that 3,600 level that I'm looking at. And here we can see this one pushing up beautifully. S&P currently trading at 6,522. And that is a new all-time high, folks. So new all-time high on S&P 500 due to the NFP results that we have here right now. NASDAQ as well, very big new all-time high, very different to the US 500. So NASDAQ is making a massive, NASDAQ not new all-time high. NASDAQ still has to achieve about 24,000. My mistake. I was looking at this high and I forgot about that. Apologize about that. S&P on the other hand, new all-time high. Okay. US 30, not a new all-time high yet. So this one still needs to push a little bit, but US 30 definitely recovered quite nicely from that low, pushed up. Just for our friend here trading DAX, also coming back up. So I would love to know what position you were in on this specific trade as well. Okay. Euro USD also pushing up very, very nicely on this one specifically. Yes. I traded gold and Euro USD. Beautiful. Rowcast, excellent learning opportunity. I really appreciate that. I love comments like that. That guy, I love that. That guy said we chopped NFP with a W. Well done. Setu, yes, thank you. Kept my volume low, but still happy. Traded gold. Absolutely beautiful. Thank you for that. Gold, new all-time highs. Yes, gold has achieved new all-time highs due to this NFP. And again, now trading at 583. I'm aiming for 3,600 traders. I really believe that is a big possibility for us to achieve here today. I see S&P is starting to pull back a bit, but I also believe S&P could still push and maybe even achieve that 5,550 level later in the US session. So perfect. Are there any questions from anyone here? Any questions? Anything that I can assist with? Any answers I can still give? If not, I think we had a really good session. So I do believe we had an exceptional session, and I think it couldn't really have gone any better. So yeah, very, very nice session here today. So I think definitely went well on that end. I just want to see here any additional questions popping through. No, doesn't look like it. So traders, I think that being said then, thank you so much. Thank you. Sorry about that. I need to drink water again. Thank you so much to every single one of you for tuning in here today. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for going through NFP with me. And what a way to end the week. Beautiful results. Beautiful last little trade for the week to pop in as well. So I'm super happy. Next week, I'll be popping out new market brief videos to keep you up to date with what is going on in the market. So please ensure to join me for those as well as I share extremely nice fundamental analysis as well as key levels for you to be able to guide your trades from there on forward. So traders, thank you very much. TP, nice, well done. I wonder, yeah, gold is still pushing, guys. Just past 85 now, so gold is really gonna go for it today. So thank you. Appreciate these. Only a pleasure, Setu. Give that man a bells. I appreciate that. Awesome. Enjoy the winning session today. Stay safe. You guys as well. So until next time, traders, stay sharp, stay focused, trade smart, and I will see you next week. Have an absolute blessed weekend. Thank you so very much.